opening into that because we all love our FAQ schema, right? That's the hot new thing. And the one thing that I'm starting to see is FAQ schema results showing up as essentially a rich snippet in the SERPs underneath listings, where it actually has a drop down for the FAQ. And I almost think this is Google's response to people using and spamming that FAQ schema to try and steal the rich snippet. They're starting to realize that they can't just give one spot to an answer. They kind of have to give that authority to the most authoritative site. So we might even start to see the rich snippets becoming more prominent, but also just more within the search itself, even to a point where I would say we may even see less search results on a given page of Google. If we have 5 or 6 FAQ schema per listing, we might not see 10 on a page, or if we don't have that much data for a search, we might see a lot of split testing between how many listings are actually showing. So I know, Chaz, we had some good talks about that earlier. I don't know if Mark even has seen that yet.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
What are we looking at here?
So the FAQ schema snippet in SERPs.
You mean like the drop-down boxes?
Yeah, specifically with FAQ markup. That's a schema markup.
Is this the first you've seen this?
Well, it's within combination with what I'm also going to be talking about next.
Okay. Because the drop-downs aren't new. They've been around for a long time.
With the schema markup?
Yeah.
Have you seen them without schema markup?
No. That's the reason we implemented schema markup on all of our lawyer clients.
I'm seeing it more than I used, because I'm seeing it on local results. You used to see it a lot on local, just like for a personal injury attorney?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the reason you're probably seeing more of it is because more people are doing it. It's probably just becoming like a cognitive
That's a good point.
thing. But yeah, that's been, so, yeah, the FAQ schema thing's been, I'd like to say a really solid 6 months. We started getting the drop downs in SERPs for different like commercial queries, local commercial queries. But it's, yeah, I mean, it's still cool to talk about because it's still a very underutilized thing, because even though you're seeing more of it, you're not seeing it on every SERP. And
and I'm seeing it change too. Like I've seen ones with the drop down last week and they don't have it this week, and I see listings with it this week. So
I mean, I hate to pull like a Socrates move here and just start like a Nostradamus and start making like doomsday predictions, but it's going to be one of those things where if it potentially pulls visibility away from the ads, which I'm doing some slides for ads right now, it is ridiculous in some local queries how many different ads there are now, just in terms of like Google guaranteed stacked on top of your typical AdWords. And then you get to the map pack and there's a sponsored map at you like to say it's position 0 of the snack pack or the 3-pack or whatever. And it's pretty intense. I mean, it's quite a bit of scrolling before you even get to anything organic. And, anything that's going to be so easy for an SEO to add snippets of schema to a website and produce those interactive drop downs. And I mean, if you start opening those up, those accordions, I mean, you can take up what would equate to like pages of the SERPs. Imagine if you opened all of them. I mean, just the one in this example is a massive block of text, and there's a more button you can click. Like
it's about the same amount of text in that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look, I mean.
And I got another one here too that has 3 drop downs, and then it even has a show more drop down. Mm-hmm. So they have a total of 6 marked up on the site.
Yeah, it takes up a lot of real estate, and I mean, we know how valuable that real estate is. So I'd say get it while the getting's good. I would just, again, just like Chaz said, they're constantly split testing the metrics that get like delivered back from the SERPs, and if they see that SERPs that have those FAQ accordions are like in any way, shape, or form negatively impacting the amount of clicks ads are getting, they're gone. And I mean, we've seen it happen for years, probably before a lot of people even watching this that were doing SEO at this point. Like, do you remember the original authorship?
Oh yeah.
Your picture, the big picture off of Google. I don't even think it was Google Plus at the time, or I don't even remember what the social platform was called. It was essentially your G Plus. But like they had the data that those were detracting from ad clicks. Bang, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
They had the data that, that when they change colors of URLs or what color the ad thing says, like they do that based on data.
Oh yeah, they made the little ad symbol like the same exact color as the hyperlink.
Yeah, I mean it comes off of. I mean, how many searches are there a day? 9 billion.
There's a lot.
Or maybe more. I mean, it's a lot of freaking searches. Like they have an intense amount of data. Like everything they do is going to be based on whether it was positive in terms of ad click or it detracted from ad click. And I mean, being able to take over a big portion of their real estate's probably not something that's going to be around forever.
I mean, I think it's more like what Chaz was saying, the zero-click SERPs. If you have those schema markups and displaying right there, you're more likely just to stay on Google and get the information you need than, going to the site and so on.
I agree. I'm not saying like there's a problem with what you said. I think you're right. The problem becomes though, in this one example you have, it's car accident attorney Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very commercial keyword. Like the intent behind that is to probably click through to a website, do some research, and essentially convert into a lead for one or more lawyers to figure out who you're going to retain. So like that's not really a zero click, like from a behavioral perspective, that's not really a zero click query. The things like the lyrics websites we talked about, which I'd hate I'd hate to own an authoritative lyrics website.
Your website just went to zero.
You just lost 57% of your traffic overnight or more. So yeah, it's that's the only thing. Like when you're taking up that much commercial real estate for high intent queries, I just don't know that it's going to last forever. But get it while the getting's good. Use the FAQ schema and make it happen.
Yeah, I like how they're using FAQ schema on local pages. It's usually traditionally it was always usually like the actual FAQ pages themselves, but now they're just putting them on every page and local service pages, and Google's still pulling those results. I do think at some point it'll come to an end, just like a review schema. They stop showing that.
Well, they still show review schema, just not like they used to.
It took a big hit.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just smack the schema on there.
I'd love to see the data on how many sites.
I mean, you used to be able to put review schema on your homepage, and they didn't care about that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that started becoming a penalty. And I mean, I would say people using FAQ schema, continue doing it while it's working, but keep in mind that they do change things if they see that something's working too well.
The nice thing about it, I don't think we've ever seen, even when we have gotten like schema penalties, it never really affected like SERP visibility. So that's a nice thing about kind of like abusing it right now, is like historically we've never seen like a site tank that I can remember off of like like you get a penalty and like they stop showing your review schema until you fix it. Or
see, I see schema markup going in more of a direction kind of like backlinks, where Google's going to make the decision whether or not they want to use that in their SERPs, but I think they are going to rely heavily on those markups for displaying stars, rich snippets, everything moving forward, because they're going to want their SERP results to become more intuitive to what people are actually looking for, and just showing a meta title in the description really isn't conducive to that kind of intuitive nature of saying, here's what you're looking for, that you're done.
I could get behind it. There's just always going to be that fine line of how much we're going to let humans influence different visual displays and the aesthetics of their real estate that could potentially detract from clicks.
That's why I think they'll just ignore it.
It's an ever-evolving thing, right? Like we'll just have to wait and see.
And how soon until you have paid drop-down schema markups, and